What's going on, sports fans? Wes Pruitt, 4 Star Sports Media. You're sitting down at the sports buffet where you always get a plate full of sports and you always leave full. Got Jason Pattyson from Hogville.net joining me tonight. Jason, appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey man, no problem at all. How y'all doing? How you doing tonight, man?
Doing well, doing well. It's been another wild night
Cool.
of college football, and let's start with what you see right there on the screen, Jade. Jason? Who is going bowling? And one of those teams happened to be a game that you were at today,
Yep.
which is the Arkansas Razorbacks, as they got a big win today over Louisiana Tech. So let's start there, if you don't mind, Jason.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on the game today, and also maybe an early projection of where you might see Arkansas now that they've got Larry out, and they are bowl eligible.
Yep. First time 2 years since they were bowl eligible. Last time they went to the Liberty Bowl, played Kansas in a overtime thriller that should never went to overtime in the first place. Uh, Today, what I saw was an absolute defensive thrashing of the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Lowest output in let me rephrase that, lowest offensive yardage output that they've had this season. If I'm not mistaken, I'm wanting to say it was right at, hold on, I got my stat pack here. Give me just about 2 seconds here, y'all. Let me see here. Actually, let me pull this up real quick. Held Louisiana Tech to 44 yards in the first half and 229 total for the game. Arkansas won 35-14. Elvin Bullock for Louisiana Tech, he was 26 of 43, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. And quick, interesting stat, Wes. I know that you love Nuggets. Their longest run of the day was by Patrick Ray, the punter. 1 carry, 26 yards on a fake field goal. I'm not kidding you. That's actually how dominant the Razorback defense was today. Again, another part of this, Arkansas kept getting off the field on third down. Louisiana Tech was 4 of 19. You cannot win going 4 of 19 on third down. I do believe that they were like 2 of 5 or 2 of 6 on fourth down. With that being said, Arkansas's defense is finally starting to make more progress. You saw it last week against Texas. They had Quinn Ewers' number. He had 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. Those 2 touchdowns really were more of a breakdown in coverage than anything else. It wasn't like they were long tosses. They kept a lot of stuff in front of them. They dared Louisiana Tech to run the ball with a 3-man front. So they were running a 3-2-6 this week. Again, they were mixing 3 high safeties and with Larry Worth. And it was kind of like, so they have a hog, which is their nickel. But they're using Larry Worth in run support, but also in the backside of the defense, giving you a 3 high safety look, which really confuses the quarterback whenever they're going through their route tree and the progressions before the snap happens. And that was all by design by T. Will and Darren Woodson, co-offensive coordinators at Arkansas. And reason why I'm going so hard on the defensive side, one, it was the determining factor of the game because offense gave up three turnovers. They were able to stay in the game because of the defensive performance today. They are going bowling. I do believe that they'll do one of 2 spots, either again back at the Liberty Bowl or they'll be in Birmingham.
See, Birmingham, that's a potential landing spot for the University of Memphis as well. That would be very interesting, especially with that series cranking up here in the next few years. So, Jason, look, just a few years away. Taylor Green, Arkansas quarterback, 20 of 37 for 221, 2 touchdowns through the air, running the ball, 6 carries for 61 yards, average of 10.2 per rush, long of 41. That long, actually, I believe, was the longest since like Matt Jones or something like that from years way, way, way back.
Yeah, that was. I didn't get the official stat on that part of it. What was so interesting too is that was a third down play that he ran right up the middle, making a couple guys miss, broke a tackle, and then took it the rest of the way. Louisiana Tech was having a hard time with Talon for a little bit in the second half. The first half, man, they had his number. They had that offensive line. They had that whole offense's number. I saw everything that was on social media. People jumping off the bridge. Fire Sam, fire Bobby. I mean, if you left it up to the fans at halftime, this team's not going bowling. This team is destitute. This team is firing, or you need to have all the coaches fired. What I don't understand, and what the mentality that I don't understand is with some of these fans, is that it's so much of a all or nothing bust. Either you're great and everything's turning around, or this shit's off the rail and we're done. I don't get it. 4-8 last year. Now you're going bowling. Arkansans sometimes just can't have nice things.
So I have a question, and I promise I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything like that.
You're good.
But, Braxton Russell would come out on social media, and I saw that evidently fans were arguing with parents. I guess maybe they're arguing with his. I'm not sure, but he came out today and said, "Look, guys, I'm not hurt."
Braylon Russell, no, he wasn't hurt. He hadn't played for the last two games, but he wasn't hurt. He did come off an injury a couple of weeks ago, but at the same time, he's not been hurt. I don't know the exact. I haven't have a chance to listen to Sam's press conference. I did while I was in the press box, but not 100% like fully engaged and focused. I was writing at the time. You can also check out all my written content on Picture Nation as well. Little self plug there, but
always,
and also on Hogville.net. But here's the thing: I need to go back there and I want to listen to it. I know that the people that were in that room were going to ask that question. I know it's going to be brought up because you got a Braylon Russell that did what he did against Mississippi State, going at this defense. They were starting to wear down that Bulldog defense in the second half. You saw it in the fourth quarter. Leading into that last score, you had R-Dub that had 4 runs of, I do believe it was 13, 16, 18, and 16, followed up with a 3-yard run. And then after that, then Jaquindon ran it from 8 yards out around the right end for the final score of the game. A guy like Braylon Russell is going to wear down that defense as well. It almost reminds me of that 3-headed monster that Arkansas had back in 2008 with 2006 with Peyton Hillis, and then Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. There's that potential there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump for a second. I gotta let my dog out. You take it for just a second. Yeah.
You're good, buddy. Yeah, no, when you look at the Arkansas for Arkansas, and it's a win that they desperately needed. Now, you look at a win that another team desperately needed is what's on the screen now, and that is the Rebels, the Ole Miss Rebels, by the way, absolutely getting swamped in Gainesville today by the Florida Gators by a score of 24-17. An absolute incredible game. Billy Napier, we asked him just a few weeks ago about being on the hot seat. He responded with obviously a coach speak answer as always. But man, I tell you, big time win for the Florida Gators today over the Ole Miss Rebels. Florida is now bowl eligible and a chance to finish the season. Man. Yeah, they're bowl eligible and a chance to finish the season off against a team limping into the game, Florida State, who just scored, You're just scored 20 points for the first time all year.
Putrid, man. I'm telling you. You had thought that whenever you saw Florida State play over in Dublin and they got their ass waxed by Georgia Tech at the first of the year, you're like, oh, no, this is an outlier. They had to travel. I mean, there were more excuses than porta potties at the University of Arkansas on game day this week at the first of the year for Florida State. They're 2-9. Florida's going in possibly on a 3-game win streak out to the end of this season. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Billy Napier, in the back of his mind, is giving the middle finger to all these haters and doubters
100%.
At the University of Florida. Scott Strickland's over there counting his money, looking like the smartest dude in the room at this point. And all of these folks that are at Florida, all they could do is bemoan and cuss this guy, and all he's done is win.
Exactly.
All he's done is crazy.
Win. It is. And then you look at it, and Napier would say after the game, quote, "We're just getting started." He was, of course, he's expected back for his 4th season as
he's coming back.
Announced. Oh yeah, it's been announced. He would go on to say, quote, he would go on to say, quote, "This is part of a bigger picture journey. Belief is the most powerful thing in the world," end quote. This man's trying to find some poster board material. Ole Miss drops to 8-3, 4-3 in conference play. They were a 10-point favorite, and they lost for the first time in 4 games, and will drop out of the top 12 CFP playoff picture. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But Lane Kiffin would say after the game, quote, "Obviously a lot at stake, and we didn't come through." Quote, "A lot of opportunity, or quote, a lot of missed opportunities." Jackson Dart came into the game playing really well, and Cam Jackson, former Memphis Tiger Cam Jackson, said, quote, you look at the way we played, we had a chip on our shoulder for sure. You look at the way that they came after Jackson Dart this game, Jason, and I have to say, it was impressive.
Oh, it was. There was a little bit of a and I know that there's some folks out there that won't give Georgia the credit they might be due on this, but they gave a lot of teams the roadmap on how to slow down Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. And you've got to have the Jimmies and the Joes. You got to have the Hosses. I talked to Marshall Foreman about this on a pregame show earlier today. Whenever you've got guys that can match up well speed-wise, which that whole Gator team, regardless of the talent level, they have speed. That's where they matched up well with Ole Miss. That's what Lane has been predicating his entire roster off of, was speed at skill positions in the back secondary linebacker. Arkansas didn't have speed. Florida just got speed. That's where the matchup really, I feel like, was won today. You look at what Mark Stoops did a few weeks ago whenever they went to Ole Miss and basically grounded the Jackson Dart flight. There was a pun for his little NIL deal with the
it is
jet company there.
That's
funny. It's a funny punny. Anyway, so that's what they were able to do. Listen, there are really good defenses in the SEC. It's a lot like the NFL at a smaller scale because there is so much parity between the portal and with so many great talents and 4- and 5-star kids and really great 3-stars, if you will, coming into the league. That's where this parity starts to happen. And so then whenever you start to look at this, it's like, oh, well, hell, now you've got kind of like a mini NFL league here in the SEC and the Big 12, or Big 10, I should say. That's where a lot of this is coming in. So week in and week out, you're not going to sit there and say, okay, we got 3 teams up here that they're going to be, we know who they are going to be. You do not know that now. Vanderbilt's proved that. Florida's starting to prove that. Oklahoma as putrid as they've been, they just knocked off Alabama. First time that Alabama's played at Norman since 2003, which Oklahoma won 37-27. But
and they don't want to go back.
there's a couple places that Alabama doesn't want to go back. Norman and Nashville
24
for
to
damn sure.
3. No, for damn sure.
Texas doesn't want to go. They don't want to see Alabama or Vanderbilt anytime soon. And now you've got Tennessee and Josh Heupel about to go headlong into Vanderbilt too. And Clark Lee is still giving it to Brian Kelly.
Yeah, he is.
A lot of people giving it to Brian
LSU's up 24-17 right now with 1:17 left in the fourth quarter. LSU does have the ball. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought that this was going to come down to a one-score game. Who was going to have the ball last was going to win.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then you look at it on the and I mean, we're not going to live stream anything, but we'll do watch-alongs where you actually watch along with people. But number 15, Texas A&M, holding on, up 31-28 against Auburn right now with 1:54 left to go in the fourth quarter. And Auburn does have the football. That game's over on ESPN, and the Vanderbilt LSU game is currently on the SEC network. When you just take a little trip around the country, Marshall currently up 42-35 on Old Dominion. Partial score, Cincinnati 9. Just kidding. 41-9. Kansas State is beating Cincinnati. USC is currently trailing 3-0 to UCLA. That's early in the first quarter. Arizona and Nevada are scoreless. 7-7. Fresno State and Colorado State currently right now as well. Duke is also leading Virginia Tech 31-20. So it's a quick little stroll around the country. Jason, speaking of stroll around the country, man, let's jump over real quick and briefly discuss. There we go. We're on screen now, folks. Sorry for those of you watching. For those of you listening, we weren't on screen. For those of you watching, we are now on screen. For those of you listening, we are now on screen. Anyway, man. So let's talk a little bit about the D2.
Box.
There you go. D2 football playoffs. If you pay attention to our website or our social media pages, there's an article out now previewing these two games that took place today at 1 p.m. If you don't know the logos on the bottom of the screen, folks, that is the Harding Bison on the left under me, Wes Pruitt, and that is the Ouachita Tiger. It says Ouachita under the Tiger as well. And that is Ouachita, folks. That's not Ouachita. That is Ouachita.
Kind of like the Oneaters, not the Wonders.
Yeah.
That thing you do.
That's a great movie. But
great movie.
We would see, it is. We would see the Ouachita Baptist University football team season come to an end today in a 38-31 overtime loss to Central Oklahoma in the first round of the D2 football playoffs. That's why it says D2 football plays on the screen. A back and forth football game, man. UCO is now 11-1, by the way. Ouachita trailed 24-14, Jason. This was the first time that the Tigers had trailed by more than one possession the entire season.
Man, I'm going to tell you what. There goes the Fighting Rex Nelsons, man, unfortunately. Love that guy, but man, that's tough.
Yeah. So, by the way, UCO had the number one offense in all of D2 football, averaging over 457 yards a game, averaging over 28 points a game as well. This game back and forth, went all the way to overtime. And the Tigers fell. The Tigers were outgained 537 to 397, including a 371 to 244 edge through the air. Wild stuff, man, as Ouachita's season comes to an end. Jason, Wichita is, statistically speaking, the most successful football team in the state of Arkansas right now, as they have 16 consecutive winning seasons. What's your
Jesus.
thoughts on that? As I understand they're not D1, but still,
Yeah.
16 winning is 16 consecutives, 16 consecutive, no matter how you look at it.
So first off, by the way, I'm pulling a Kirk Herbstreit here. I've got my dog Max. It's not Ben, but it's Max. He's a beagle. He's
Yeah,
over
you're
here.
good.
He's one. I call him my sound producer because he
Yeah,
likes to be loud, and you can hear him in the background. He's wanting some attention right now because I've been gone all day. He did get a walk and he did get a run this morning, so it's not like I'm completely neglecting him. Uh, back to what you were talking about. So here's the deal: whenever you have 16 straight winning seasons, uh, that right there is the epitome of consistency and leadership at the top position. And that you're looking at head coach, you're looking at support staff, you're looking at athletic director, you're looking at however many coaches have stayed on during that time frame. They D2 coaches move, maybe as much as some of the D1 coaches, unless they get a shot to go up to D1. But that right there shows you that not only do they have consistency, they have a great model that they follow year in and year out in recruiting. Also now the portal and just the camaraderie that support that develops in the program keeps that consistent. And you have to look at that and say, what are they doing right? Because they've got to be doing something right. Because Oklahoma, and I'm bringing this up for a good reason. Oklahoma
yeah.
just beat Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma just become bowl eligible for the 27th straight year. I did not think that was going to happen because they have Alabama and LSU at the end of the season. Same thing here, 16 straight seasons. That right there shows you that what they're doing is right and it's good. You don't hear any violations. You don't hear of any people taking money. You don't hear of players pulling mess, getting suspended, all this other stuff that would be detrimental to the team. So when you do look at that, 16 seasons is super impressive.
Yeah, man, it really is. And head coach Todd Knight, who has tied the legendary coach Buddy Benson for all time wins at Ouachita Baptist as well. And obviously, he will break that streak probably pretty quickly next season. But as you look on the other side of the Great American Conference, or the GAC, as I like to call it, I like to call this segment Yakking About the GAC. But anyway, um,
I got a pun for that
you
too.
look at you, you looked at
Do they leave the
the
country and yak in the GAC?
I'm not sure.
Be
That's
great
a
if they
really
did.
good question. Yes, it would. On the other side of the coin, there you've got the Harding Bison, defending national champions, and they would absolutely run away from Pittsburgh State today, 48-3. By the way,
That's a
with the win,
fighting Sam
Harding.
Pittman's there, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are. So now Harding will improves to 11-1. Will advance to take on Grand Valley State next week at noon. Next Saturday at Allendale, Michigan. Pittsburgh State falls to 8-3. Jason, take a guess on how many yards the Bisons have on the ground today.
If I'm not mistaken, they're a pretty run-heavy team as it is. Because I was
Oh yeah.
watching them in the Colorado. I watched them. I watched the national championship last year with them versus Colorado Mines. I'm going to say probably 360 yards on the ground.
The Bison's rushing attack had 518 yards on the ground today. That is
Jesus.
11th most in program history and most ever in a playoff game.
Whoa.
And a Harding playoff
Did you
game
say
record.
11th most in program history?
Yes. Yes.
They got 1,000.
Yeah.
They got. Do they have a band out there somewhere floating around from about 10 years ago or something?
So this team averages over 400
Golly.
something yards a game rushing, dude. They're fun to watch. Honestly,
Yeah.
I absolutely love watching this Harding football team. You know, it's going to be straight acapella, and they're going to run option football. I mean, I saw a sign last year that it said it was a sin to punt. So I thought it was or pass. I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Sounds like straight no
As
shooter, man. Hell.
well, I mean, growing up as a Church of Christ member and Harding is a Church of Christ University, I find that sign hilarious. By the way, anyway, I know there wasn't too much dancing going on after the national
Dude,
championship.
you gotta stop, man. I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying not to get kicked off my airwaves over here with the bad
good,
show with you. So all it takes is one these days, and I'm screwed. So,
you're good, brother. In contrast, Harding's defense held Pittsburgh State to a mere 148 yards, including 39 rushing and 109 through the air. Big time stuff in Division II football. Jason, let's jump over now, man, and let's talk a little college football playoff. Yes, I did say. Yeah,
that's exactly what this is. This isn't organized anything. This is organized chaos. Like Auburn right now, they've got the ball, 3rd and goal at the Texas A&M 6. They are down by 3 with 16 seconds left. Everybody in College Station right now is grabbing themselves, hoping for the best at this point.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
Waiting for the atom bomb to happen and completely just radiate all of College Station, which I'm sure that's what's going to happen this coming weekend whenever Texas takes on A&M. Yeah, if A&M loses this, they're going to come out pretty salty. And I would predict that there's going to be a fight before the game. These two teams haven't played each other in damn near 12 years, or at least 12 years. So that tells me that if A&M ends up losing this game to Hugh Sleaze, man, that's going to be some pretty salty dudes over there.
He gets on to me. He calls man Hugh Sleaze. Oh, man.
I didn't name him that, man. Dude. Otis did. Otis calls him that. Eli Stinkwitz.
Oh, man. Oh, man. That's funny, dude. Watch out. Hey, he may have a burner phone. So.
At least he didn't have a McDonald's bag like old Butch did. True story. I'm going to get you kicked off and keep this mess up.
No, it's all good. So number 2, Ohio State would knock off number 5, Indiana, 38-15 today. Miami would knock off Wake Forest 42-14. Let's start with that Ohio State game, Jason.
I got something to say about that mess, too. I got something to say about this because here's the deal. There's been so damn many people here and name the town, name the college that you're at where you're not happy with your head coach. And there are so damn many people that are wanting Kurt Cignetti to take over their program. That guy is one of the most arrogant, pompous dudes I have ever watched on an interview. And I would not want him to be coach at Arkansas. If I was at Florida, I wouldn't want them to get rid of Billy Napier for this guy. I think he fits perfect in Indiana, where they sit there and they get salty and all this mess. They get finally a good season, and then Ohio State goes in there and rips them a new one. Had it coming.
Yeah, I mean, and then at the end of the game, Ohio State put a little extra up there, put a picture of Cignetti walking on the sidelines, and then said, "Google me." So
exactly,
nice little
shot
there. Little shot there at the end of the game.
Overtime, Auburn, A&M kicked a field goal. 5 seconds left in the 4th. Looks like this is going to be free football down in the Plains.
There we go, man. There we go. I like it. We appreciate everybody watching right now on Twitter, too, by the way. Or I'm sorry.
How many people are watching right now?
Right now it's showing to have 27 people watching on Twitter, so we appreciate those folks watching.
Hey, man, y'all 27 people, tell your friends, go watch us, and then spread it, and that'd be 54. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Always, man. SMU, Jason. The Mustangs bought their way into the ACC, and now they're heading to the ACC championship game.
Bought their way into the ACC. They bought all their players, and they bought themselves into the championship.
Yeah, I mean, this is wild stuff. And Rhett Lashley, there's a lot of Arkansas fans that want him.
Pony Excess 2.0 right there.
You ain't kidding.
2.0.
And then there's Brett Bulimia. I mean Bulimi. Sorry,
Ah,
Bielema.
there is no
That's
bulimia in that house on his side. There is none.
who got a big win today,
Somebody's
38-31
probably looking
over
for some
Greg
Ozempic for
Schiano.
him.
Greg Schiano and the Rutgers Knights. Did you see how this game transpired, Jason? So, Greggy boy calls a timeout, tried to
Yeah.
ice Illinois. Well, Illinois is like, well, screw it. We're not going to kick. We're going to go for it. And they scored to win the game.
Isn't that the
You
most
can't make
Bielema
this
thing to
stuff
ever
up, man.
happen? Oh, is he?
It's,
Is he out?
yeah,
Is he up
yeah.
there in Champlain going? Oh, this is borderline erotic.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably still got
Jesus.
his hippie music going in the office and his all his incense and all that good stuff. Um,
I hope he's quit
yeah, I mean,
drinking
Jack,
because if not, man, there's no liquor bottle
possibly.
in Illinois that's safe tonight.
This is true. This
Oh,
is true. Florida State, big win, 41-7 over Charleston Southern today. Trent Dilfer and his Dilfer self got a win 40-14 today over the Rice Owls. So, man, he really knocked the Hooters off there. Kennesaw
well, because if
State got a
not,
big
because he was
win.
going to be in a dill of a pickle.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he
Listen
was.
to Rice.
Um,
Already fired their
yeah,
coach into shit fire.
exactly. App State wins 34-20 over James Madison. Um, Kennesaw State 27-26 over Florida International. Arkansas State, them ragum Red Wolves from Jonesboro, Arkansas, got a big win 28-21 over Louisiana Monroe.
Man,
Charlotte, shout
ULM,
out.
huh?
Yes, ULM still fighting for bowl eligibility. They got one more game left. And by the way, shout out Biff Poggi, former Charlotte head football coach, but he showed up to practice this week a couple times actually. And Charlotte goes on the road and knocks off a putrid Florida Atlantic team 39-27.
Hey,
So
man.
shout out Biff, by the way.
Is he the old boy that wears no sleeves on the sidelines?
Yes, that's him. 3 questions.
Man, what happened to him? Was he just, did he quit or what happened?
I think when you look at the Charlotte situation, I could be wrong on this, but I think when you look at the Charlotte situation, I think you run into an issue with NIL first and foremost. Um, I just don't. I mean, you would think being Charlotte, it would have some attraction, but there's just not a lot there.
Did he get fired or what
They're
happened?
yeah.
Wait, wait,
They
wait, wait,
fired
wait,
him.
wait, wait. So, so no sleeves shows the
Nope.
backup to the school that he got fired from twice this week, and
well,
they let
well,
him
he got
on.
fired from him once. He got fired once, but yeah, he got fired one time. But yeah, he showed up this week to practice, and then the team turned around and wins. I mean, I'm
Hey,
saying like not shows up. Not hold on. Let me rephrase for the 35 people watching. We appreciate you watching, but I don't want it to seem like this guy just said, "Hey, get the crap out of my way. I'm calling plays." I don't mean that way when I say show up to practice. I'm saying like
he
walked on the
visited.
field. Yeah, exactly. Yes, thank you. Okay, just want to make
Okay.
sure. I don't want anybody to
Well, I mean,
which I
if
think's cool.
somebody that goes suns out, guns out on the sideline during a game, I mean, you
Oh
really
yeah.
can't say no to anyway. I mean, that's just like somebody that's got an airbrush T-shirt from coastal Carolina somewhere. You just got to ride with it and hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah. As you can see on the bottom of the screen there, it does say CFP shakeup. And we saw quite the shakeup
Yeah,
in Tempe, Arizona tonight,
this is some
as we
shit.
would see. Yeah, it is. So Tempe, Arizona, we would see the wildest scene I've ever seen in college football, Jason. I am 40 years, almost 40 years old. You and I are in the same ballpark age. I've never seen
I,
a team storm the field, them have to get the people off the field, get the
I'm watching
goalposts
this
back
right
up,
now. Oh, this is crazy.
get the get the goalpost back up. Kenny Dillingham about has a coronary on the field. I don't have to. There would be nothing but beeps if I even remotely started to even remotely try to say
I'm
what
watching this dude. He's losing his ever-loving mind right now.
Yes, he does. He loses his stuff on the
People's
field.
like patting him on the shoulder, and he's like, "Get off of me and off this field right now!"
Yes, dude. Yes. This is what Arizona State did. This is what they did. They just get off the damn field right now.
That's what
Get
happens when
out
you
of
go to a
here.
party school. Everybody's drunk and not gives a shit. That's what happens right
Yes.
there.
But here's the thing. They get off the field.
And they beat BYU.
And then they all wait patiently. And then the last play happens. And then woof, they're right back on the field.
It's
It is
like
the most beautiful thing I've seen. I've seen now. There's now been what? Kennesaw State stormed the field twice. I want to say Vanderbilt. Didn't they do it earlier this year? Now Arizona State. By the way, shout out Arizona State. They're getting ready to possibly play for a Big 12 championship if they knock off Arizona next week, by the way.
And BYU damn near won that game, too. They got to the ball down to the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
They almost
Incredible
won.
Game. Incredible.
Dude, it was like they were, I don't know. I'm not trying to, cast aspersions towards the Arizona State fan base, but it was like they were dealing with a bunch of 5-year-olds at preschool. Okay, keep your hands to yourself. Everybody stand in line real quick. And then whenever I say go, then y'all can lose your minds. Okay, go now.
That's exactly what they did. Everybody was sitting there with their phones. And then they're like, okay, let's go. All right, let's go. And they just took off.
Yeah, because everybody's out there trying to get a piece of that Twitter action. Did you see what Antonio Brown did during the Tyson fight last weekend?
Yeah, I watched it.
That cat had 5.5 million people on his Twitter live watching it because Netflix couldn't figure their mess out.
Nope. We talked about that earlier this week, man. It was an absolute fiasco with Netflix. And then, I don't know if you remember Rikishi back in the day, but I said earlier this week that Mike Tyson stink-faced the entire nation during the fight. That was the most entertaining portion of that, and that women's fight was the two most entertaining parts.
Dude, him falling short of that right jab that would have clocked his rear and just knocked him out.
He had a few times. He had a few times to duck and throw that Mike Tyson legendary uppercut too, and he didn't do it.
Well, how the hell do you? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna get off on that topic. No, you're good. Go for
it. Give me your thoughts on a team that has now knocked off 3 straight ranked football teams in a row.
Kansas Jayhawks.
And that's the Kansas Jayhawks. Devin Neal just said, "You know what? Give me my team in Arrowhead Stadium. Give me I love the mismatched uniform. The blue with the red is so fresh. I love it." And he said,
"So clean."
It is. He said, "Get on my back, and I'm going to run the Buffaloes over." And that's exactly what happened. Now,
hey, man.
I understand everybody's going to talk about the dirty hit on Shedeur Sanders.
Yes. That cat gets at least one of them every couple of weeks.
But
honestly, he does. And I think it's just because of who he is.
Yeah. Devin Neal, 37 carries for 207 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kansas ran the ball 57 times for 331 yards compared to 13 rushes for 42 yards. Jason, you were on earlier this year. We talked about issues with Colorado, and here it is again. Balance. There is no balance with this football team. And I said it earlier in the year. I was not expecting them to win 8 games, but they're not going to make it to a college football playoff, and for damn sure, not a college football championship without being balanced.
No, they're not. I mean, let's face it. Look, Shedeur Sanders is good. Is he next level good? Don't know yet. He tossed 3 touchdowns tonight. He's got 30 for the season, which is tops which is a single season record in Colorado, which really kind of baffles me a little bit because Cordell Stewart went there. That guy had an amazing run while he was in Colorado, and he didn't have 30 touchdowns in the season. Kind of baffles me. I know the guy did a lot of great things with his feet or his legs, I should say, but not having 30 passing touchdowns in a season. There's been some great quarterbacks that have played at Colorado as well, and Gary Barnett, he did a great job when he was there. He did a great job whenever he was at Northwestern for a couple of years. But the thing is that it still kind of baffles me that he broke that record. But two, Deion's turned that thing around there. I know that people keep doubting him, but you know what? I like the approach that he has. I like the approach that he has with NIL. I like the approach that he has with his team. He treats those guys not as college kids, but he treats them as professionals if they were to go to the next level. He wants them to be, great adults. When he tries to treat them that way, and it's hard whenever you have an 18, 19-year-old, and some of these parents have, I wouldn't say helicoptered him, but they have definitely coddled him. And whenever you meet somebody like Deion, that shit goes sideways sometimes.
Very quickly is generally how that goes sideways. No, most definitely, Jason. I think Tuesday night, and we, us 4-Star Sportsmen, we'll be back on tomorrow night. I'll be back on with started from Inside the Lines, Blake Hogue from Hogs Happy Hour, and possibly another guest or two to dive into these games. Also, give our college football rankings for this week. We'll get the graphic like we did last week as well. Before, wow,
38-31.
Okay, A&M.
Auburn's got the ball.
Look at Jason bringing some daggum breaking news noises.
That's shorthand.
Yeah, it is. But Jason, yeah. Jason, as we give final thoughts here, as we wrap this thing up, first off, man, once again, appreciate you guys or you coming on. And by the way, just to echo what Jason said earlier, this guy's one of the best writers I know. And
now you're just greasing my wheels.
No. One of the best writers I know. But more importantly, man, one of the nicest guys I know. Just genuine all the way around. Will do you right. Will treat you right, but we'll definitely be there for you when you need somebody to talk to, man. So I appreciate you in numerous ways there. But man, more importantly, man, it's Thanksgiving, right? Time to be thankful. So as final thoughts, man, give me a couple things that you've been thankful for so far in this college football season.
Well, one, Arkansas having a winning season because it makes my job easier. Let's just throw that out there. Nobody likes to write for a team that's 4-8. That's baseline. I'm thankful for Missouri having 3 losses. I'm also thankful for Alabama having 3 losses, first time since 2010. That's according to Brandon Marcello. Give him his props on that. What else am I thankful for? I'm thankful for Vanderbilt, honestly, because they've been kind of fun to watch. Because they've been the doormat for God knows how long, ever since James Franklin was there, and before that, Jay Cutler. So that's been fun. And the one thing that I would love to see is if they did a claymation of Hugh Freeze, Eli Drinkowitz, and Celebrity Deathmatch. That would make my Thanksgiving perfect. With Mills Lane, God rest his soul, as they can AI his butt now. Just saying, they can AI him, and he could go in there. These two start getting ready to scrap, and let's get it on.
There it is. I was waiting on it. I knew it was coming. You know what I'm honestly grateful for, man?
What are you thankful for?
There's freaking 47 bowl games by the time you include the college football playoff.
Can everybody just get a trophy now?
Not everybody. So let's really sit back
teams.
I mean, It's but a lot of coaches out there. I'm not going to name specific names. A lot of coaches out there use the quote unquote coach speak of winning in Division One college football is hard.
Not if you got good players. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to cut it to you straight. Not if you got the good players. And like Nick Saban said, if you're not paying the right ones, your ass is out of there.
Yeah, kidding. By the way, I believe Auburn just scored. It's now 38-37. What a wild
It's
thing
tied now. Tied.
Yep. So
really
what I'm thankful for, man, is honestly, I'm thankful for more parity out there. And when I say that, you kind of touched on this earlier. You're seeing a lot more of the 3-star players. The 4 you see the 5-star kids, right? But you're seeing the 3-star kids that are coming out that are becoming the big name star.
Yeah.
Like and you're seeing it at exactly. You're seeing it at different universities, and there's more. I feel like there's more parity in the league. I think there's more excitement around college football. I think this college football playoff, while many are going to call it an invitational, many are going to say that, oh, the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, they just wanted expansion to get more teams, more of their own teams in there. Could they be right?
Yeah, more money.
Yeah, of course. And is there going to be even more expansion? Yes. It's going to go to 16, folks. It's coming. It's going to happen. I think it goes more than that. I think I personally, I think you almost get up to 24 teams by the time it's all said and done. But in addition to that, by the time that gets there, there's no more NCAA.
Okay,
I think there's a commissioner and all that.
Okay, so first off, if you go to, and I want to expand on this just for a second.
Sure.
All of these college teams that are in their Power 4 are going to an NFL model. Look at how your NFL, say for instance, you have a favorite NFL team. Look at how the organizations ran at the front office, player personnel, and then at the owner's level. That's how college football is going to. That's where they're going to. Alabama has a general manager. You saw Adrian Wojnarowski leave ESPN to go to St. Bonaventure to do that for the Bonnie's basketball program. Your college teams are going to look like NFL teams. Now, with that being said, if you go to a 20 or 24 player playoff system, now you are going to have to look at an NFL model schedule as well. Are you going to expand it to where you have 17 regular season, postseason games total? You cannot go to a 9-team conference. Almost all but eliminates your conference championship. Other than maybe if it's a playoff implication. I mean, you may have it, but it may not hold the same water as it does now. It's going to water that down, and you're going to have almost 2 months worth of playoff games. Even the NFL doesn't have a 20 or 24 team model. There's a reason for it because they maximize on their dollars. I think that's what's going to happen with the NCAA. I think they're going to cap it at maybe 12 to 16, call it good, restructure, and have 4 giant conferences. They're going to scrap the NCAA. One of the reasons why they were going to scrap the NCAA is because the NCAA does not have subpoena power, and you're going to have that with NIL. If you get rid of that, now you're looking at a different model that's going to be running alongside the U.S. government. That's what's going to happen, y'all. Book it.
Oh, it's coming. We've been talking to Tony Syracuse about it for what I feel like is a year and a half, 2 years now. And then you've come along, and it's almost a mirror conversation with you in many ways, and you guys are doing it from numerous different perspectives. I mean,
I don't even talk to the dude.
No, I mean, this is something. I mean, like I said, we talked to Cole Kubelik the day or day after whatever that all this NIL, all this stuff took place, and that night, Cole told us you will need a general manager, a roster management. you're gonna need it because if you don't, you're gonna get left behind.
Well, here's the thing. What you're asking is you're asking the head coach and the athletic director and God knows whoever else is in that athletic department. Oh, by the way, we're going to job creep you. We're paying you $5 some odd million a year, but we're also going to ask you to do player personnel. We're going to ask you to help manage with NIL. Make sure that the guys that are getting NIL get on the field, so that way that you don't piss off the people that are paying you in the first place. There is so much bull that these head coaches are dealing with that a lot of people, I know that folks kind of put it into perspective a little bit, but they don't see the full, like the whole scope of it. That's why you have to have that, because the athletic director can only do so much. The head coach can only do so much. Why do you think Bobby Petrino's OC right now? He don't want to deal with that mess. Why is Coach K, Jay Wright, Roy Williams, all those guys are gone? They don't want to mess with it. There was not a system in place. They were going to have to deal with it from 3 to 5 years. It's going to change, because if not, you're going to start losing a lot of good coaches.
Yeah, very true, man. I appreciate you coming on tonight, man.
Yep.
We've been live almost an hour.
Thanks for my TED talk at the end. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. No problem. Yeah, fun stuff, man. We talked a little bit about bowling, as some teams will be out bowling. We talked a little bit about some wild games. Oklahoma. We're going to talk more about it tomorrow, but Oklahoma dismantled Alabama. But Jason, before we get out of here, man, I got to give you a chance to plug what you do, plug where you are, plug any shows you got.
Yeah.
Any upcoming content, anything like that. Go right ahead.
All right. So first off and foremost, I know that you said, what am I thankful for college football this year? I did not mention one aspect of college football that I am super thankful for, and that is the folks that I write with over at Hogville that contribute to KNWA Pig Trail Nation. Otis Kirk, Dudley Dawson, Drake Pretty, Jerry Meadows, John James, our photographer, also Kevin McPherson. He also writes with us too for football. I'm very thankful for all those guys. They make my job easy. We make Otis's job easy. We get along with each other when it comes to college football stuff. That's always great, and it's always a joy seeing those guys whenever we go up there into the press box and see them. So I'm thankful for each one of those guys. Also, Lanny Beavers, he's the one who brought me on, and he's the reason why I'm here. So every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on Hogville YouTube and also on Hogville.net, you can catch the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk at 7 o'clock live at Torchy's and Rogers every Thursday night from now till God knows when. You can go on to the Twitter handle, Facebook, YouTube, watch all the shows that we have. I got former Razorback running back Marshall Foreman. That's my co-host for the pregame shows. We just wrapped up our final one, and he told me today at the end of the show that he will be joining me next year as well. We're going to kind of get out the logistics and look at what might work best, but he will be back next year, so I'm super happy about that. And so, yeah, there's a lot going on. We're the Arkansas Diamond Report with Dudley Dawson, which covers all women's sports with basketball, softball. He also does baseball as well. So that'll be firing up. We've been doing shows here and there, but since the basketball season is starting to come along and baseball and softball come up here in about 2 months, we'll start to really fire up even more. We'll be very consistent and weekly with that. So, yeah, come eat some tacos. Come read stuff off of our Pig Trail Nation handle, and also at hogville.net, which is also live and free.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. And when these guys say they're insiders, these guys, Otis, Dudley, those guys have been around Arkansas sports
40 plus years.
I was about to say ages. Real quick, Jason, before you go, little surprise note here. I'm not going to put a direct quote out here because I value this stuff, but we would see Eli Drinkowitz make a statement today to Mississippi State fans as they were on the road. They were beating Mississippi State. And I guess at the end of the game, Mississippi State fans were chirping a little bit. And Eli would say, quote, "Hey, Mississippi State, shut the beep up or I'm going to score." So, Jason, what's your thoughts on Eli, who looks like an IT director? What's your thoughts on Eli basically just cackling and talking trash with Mississippi State fans? I just Nick Sirianno did it a few weeks back. I don't know. What's your
You
thoughts,
know,
and then I'll get mine.
Here's the thing. I thought I saw Eli Drinkowitz at one point. I thought I saw him somewhere before. I can never put my finger on it until he started surfacing more and more with Missouri. And you know what, Wes? I know exactly where I saw him at before. He used to be the host of the Bozo Show on WGN every Saturday morning. They just took off the hair, they took off the makeup, and he's still the same clown. Same clown.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, at this point in time, they were up 39-20. There was a minute and 20 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. What? And you were on the 2 yard line of Mississippi State getting ready to go in and score.
He's a
Like you
clown
was. I
guy.
mean, there's just no need in it. But
Hey,
once again,
A&M just tied it
well,
up at 41-41. More free football for everybody. Before you know it, we're going to start going to 2-point conversions at the Plains.
oh man, I'm
Yep.
dumb. All right, well look, let's close this thing out. But for all of us here at Four Star Sports Media, I am Wes Pruitt. Once again, thank you to Jason Pattyson. Also, thank you
Anytime.
everyone for out to Hogville for allowing Jason to do things like this and bring his great insight into sports media, not just on the Arkansas level, but also on the national level as well. We will be back tomorrow evening, tomorrow afternoon, one of the two, for more college football as we bring in John Sturdivant from Inside the Lines and Blake Hogue from Hogs Happy Hour to break down a wild weekend of college football on the CFP recap right here on the Sports Buffet, where you always come sit down and get a plate full of sports and get full. As always, folks, stay
Yeah.
classy.